back to another football podcast, the second installment of the World Cup final reflections. Bear with us. It was the greatest game of all time in sports history. So we'll talk about it a little bit more now that we have George. Harry is unfortunately not here. But we can make fun of his picks in the pre-tournament predictions while he's not here. And then he can listen back to the episode and he will be very upset. And that will be pleasing. But George, how are you? How have you been?
Yeah, very, very well. Been doing just fine.
Just fine. How? Just
You
fine.
sound like you've got something. I've been just fine.
Just fine.
Nothing happening here.
Nothing special happened. Not
nothing
Messi winning the
conspicuous.
World Cup
Yeah.
and Argentina doing it in the greatest game that has ever been in all of humanity. What are your reflections on this kind of event, George?
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was really good for football. I don't know how many people would watch it outside of football fans. I mean, World Cup is spectated by a lot of people, but then there are a lot of football fans. I know, obviously, I watched it with my girlfriend, and she's not massive into football, but she was enjoying it, and it was entertaining. I think just as a spectacle on its own, without sort of needing to be a diehard fan. On top of that, obviously, Messi finally winning the World Cup. It's just magical, really. I mean, obviously, it's Argentina, which isn't great for an Englishman, but France and picking between France and Argentina is not an easy or something I really want to do anyway. So, couldn't really care either way apart from Messi. So yeah, it was really great. It was just extremely entertaining. I thought well put together, well refed. And I won a few quid on the bets on it, which is fantastic.
Good for you. I kind of wanted also to talk about a few other things that we didn't really read about in behind the scenes after the fact, because it was a really weird sequence of events in the trophy presentation and in the parades afterwards. And in the press conferences and the kind of the different videos that have been coming out. And I wanted to start with the trophy lift. This is something that we covered very briefly last episode. The bisht that Lionel Messi was given by the Emir.
There's kind of been a mixed reaction to it on Twitter from what I've seen. There's some people that are for it, some people against it. I still kind of stand by what I said about it. It felt like I can't take it as an authentic gesture because of everything else around it.
Because of the history behind the
history of this World Cup.
So.
I can't take it as an authentic, nice gesture.
I will say that I have fully shifted into the direction of it is an authentic gesture, and it is very good. Because I saw a video of the little, shop that designed the bisht. They taken the height of Messi, like the official height of Messi, and his the different waist ratios and stuff. I don't know, to be able to do exclusively for him. So I'm thinking now he kind of knew about that. He was gonna get given some sort of garment, and the Argentinian fans, between the World Cup final and going back home whenever they did the next day, they all loads of Argentina fans would visit that place. And I saw a very brief interview video, I think on TikTok, with a few of the workers that work there, and asking about the what the size was and how the process went and stuff like that. And it was very good because it has
where's
different
Lloris's
meanings.
one?
But that's what I was going to ask. Would they have done it?
I think they would have. But that's a good question. I don't know.
Then they would have had to have had it made.
Yeah, they would have had to.
And also, I'm sure the people that make it are all very nice, but the people who commissioned it is who I'm skeptical about.
Yeah, and that's fair. But it's called the bisht. It's worn for.
I totally believe that it's a nice thing to give somebody. No problem with that at all. If anybody wants to send me one, I'd be more than happy to wear it. But I'm just skeptical as the timings of it, and I think they know rightly the importance of Messi holding the World Cup and the iconic photo that would have, and I still think they're trying to put a bit of Qatar in that iconic moment for more sports washing purposes, more than anything else.
I think it was bad timing. I think you've got to let Messi do the trophy lift without it, but then I'm more than happy if you know, because at that point I don't know if Messi. I don't think anyone knows if Messi was actually consulted about it beforehand. But at that point, if he's then goes and accepts it, it's almost like he's not forced to do it just before he lifts a trophy. If that makes sense, he can go up, he can receive it, make a ceremony of that if you like. I really don't mind that. It's just the timing was a little bit off. To be fair, I'm less bothered by that than I was by the Saltbae pictures, and which were just vile. It was the worst. I think that's the worst.
Has it been announced like how he's got in there? Did one of the players invite him?
No, I think he's friends with Infantino.
Yeah, it's FIFA.
I think he's close to Infantino. I could be wrong.
He might have eaten in his restaurant once. Like loads of the players that were on the pitch had eaten in one of his restaurants before. Come on, man. Who the hell are you?
Surprised Ronald McDonald wasn't there then. Like I'm sure all the fans and all the players have eaten in his restaurant once or twice. Like
Jared freaking Kushner was an invitee. Like what's going on? What are we doing here?
Just on that, I've just googled it, and it is. I don't know if this is a particularly reputable thing, but according to a Spanish newspaper report, he's apparently friends with Infantino.
What's the newspaper?
Just disgraceful. I don't know. AS.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay. Cool. So that was weird too. But I think what people will, in tens of years, will look back on is just Messi winning the World Cup. I think.
Yeah. Definitely.
And Messi broke the Instagram record, 70 million likes and rising as of this morning. It's just mental. The previous record was 58 million. The biggest event in the history of sports. That was. I want to ask this though: was this your? Where does it rank among your favorite World Cup? I assume for both of you, my first World Cup was 2006. Your first World Cups would have been around that or 2010. Which one was it actually?
Yeah. I remember 2010. I don't. My memory's terrible, so 2006 I don't particularly remember.
What was your favorite out of all of them?
I don't particularly love any of them because my team wasn't in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you know what? This is the best final. I don't know. It's hard to say. I can't really remember what I enjoyed more the whole thing.
Yeah.
But this one has the best memory for me already.
Yeah.
It's like that final and Messi. The other ones, I feel like I didn't get to see as much of this one just because of the times and the job I'm working. So
we all did get to see. That's why this is the 5th episode since the start of the thing.
Yeah. And whereas before I would have some of them would have been when I was at school, so I would have been able to watch quite a few games and stuff. What one? Brazil was brilliant because England got knocked out really early.
Brazil. Yeah.
You know what? Brazil was. I'd say Brazil. It was pretty good. Now I'm thinking about it. I had the 7-1. Few memorable moments. That one's probably up there. Actually, thinking about it.
Yeah.
2018 for me, in terms of just celebrations with England, I was in a beer garden. We were winning games.
Nice.
As soon as I left the country, we got knocked out. I went to Spain, went to Barcelona, got knocked out. So that one was, in terms of enjoyment for England, that was the best I could drink. I could be around my friends. It was hot. we're celebrating. Obviously, this one's got a completely different, I suppose, vibe for most people because it's in the winter.
Yeah.
So it looked like the Australians were really enjoying themselves. Obviously, their summer over there. So they seem to take advantage of it. But for me, it was good footballing wise. I think it was the most competitive and the most interesting.
Yeah.
The actual games themselves, but in terms of feeling and emotion, definitely 2018.
You know what? I will say 2014 for similar reasons to yours. I was gonna say 2018 because the it was just hella fun. The games themselves were just like absolute quality from the very start. Like the second day, you had the Spain-Portugal game, the 3-3.
Yeah,
what a game.
That was brilliant.
Egypt were in the World Cup in 2018. The first game was really good, even though Salah didn't play, but the rest of the tournament was just an absolute disaster. But I just moved into a new place, and I didn't have any like friends, so I was just watching all the World Cup alone. Even my brother was taking like summer classes, he missed the entire World Cup. So I will say 2014 just because I got to watch a lot of games with people and enjoy with them. The World Cup final, it was in Egypt, so electricity can tend to cut out, especially at that time. It cut out a lot, and in the middle of the final, like in the middle of the second half, it cut out. So I had to go to like a restaurant and watch the rest of it there. It was really good.
Not was quite a good. The final was quite tense as well, but like it had a really good winner. Like the Gotcha goal is pretty special goal.
Yeah, it was
as well.
But yeah, as much as I was rooting for Argentina at that time, but 2014 was brilliant. So yeah, Qatar though is like second least favorite, maybe least favorite, just because of the timing and not being able to watch
Qatar,
it. It took a long time to get
the final is like it's recency bias and all that, but the final will stick in my head.
Oh, best final.
It's the best game ever.
It really does take the World Cup up a notch. And I also think although there was a lot of draws and a lot of 0-0s at the start or 1-1s in the first round, but it kind of set up the second half of the group stages to be very interesting because everybody was still in it.
Yeah.
Like Spain, Germany, Costa Rica, and Japan's group was crazy.
Both Germany and Spain were out at one point.
It was a really good tournament for non-European teams.
Yeah,
which was like and I think it was sort of like this tournament is in a lot of ways and with where it was is a bit of a slap in the face to UEFA and European teams and people like me that like are always rating the European teams higher.
Yeah.
And then so many of them, like Belgium and whatever, you just sort of become complacent. Of course, they're going to go through, and there's been so many South Korea and Japan, just like knocking some big teams out. Like for Uruguay not to qualify, I was really shocked at that. Denmark were meant to be dark horses, bottom of the group. So a lot of these sort of teams that you would have rated, though Uruguay's not European, but I think it was a bit of a wake up to the European teams that everywhere else is pretty good at football as well.
I think my favorite thing, apart from the obvious, about this World Cup is that it proved that European teams have too many slots and the rest of the world have too few slots. So hopefully in 2026. When we see more teams, when we see 9 or 10 African teams, when we see, I don't know, I think it will be 6 CONCACAF teams, that some teams are going to be able to prove themselves more, and a couple of African teams make it to the quarterfinal, because there have been African teams in the past that were good enough to go very, very far, and because of the brutality of the African qualifiers and the fact that only 5 qualify, with how high quality African football is, we will be able to have all the best African teams in the competition, and it will open many, many doors for more African teams to go late, to go far in the competition. Maybe potentially have a Final Four of non-European teams, and I would love that. I would absolutely love that. I think we're a podcast that we support big teams, but I think we like our underdogs a bit, as short people ourselves. Speaking of that, we will get on to the awards, our FIFA World Cup awards. And one of them is going to be the short king. Well, Messi is the short king, just so everybody knows. But we'll pick a non-Lionel Messi short king of the tournament. But first, player of the tournament, gentlemen, Fergal, who's your player of the tournament? Would you agree with Messi being given the golden ball just because Messi?
Yeah, well, my player of the tournament, I think he for me, he didn't have a really good run of games up until the quarterfinal. And then the quarterfinal for me, he really came into his own. I'm going for Harry Kane.
Is that all? That's all I have to say.
What else to say? Everybody knows the joke here.
Yeah, there you go. Good, fantastic, George. George, who's your
I don't want to follow that. I really don't.
I don't think Fergal's changing his mind.
No, he's not. He's not. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go Mbappe.
Okay.
I think he deserves something. He was just out of this world, and I think it's absolutely heartbreaking to score a hat trick in a final and not, win it. He deserves the World Cup as much as Messi does, I think. Mm-hmm. And so he'll come again, Mbappe, but he deserves a lot of credit. He's just such a talented footballer, and he's brilliant. So yeah, Mbappe for me.
I am going to go. Well, I don't want to pick Messi, so I'm gonna pick Griezmann. I think, just because Griezmann Messi's my player of the tournament, but Griezmann carried France to an extent, and I know a lot of people have Griezmann as their player of the tournament, but I think it's a bit underestimated, like how much he made things move. I don't think Mbappe becomes top scorer if it wasn't for Griezmann, obviously because he gave him a couple assists, but the transition from like middle third to final third was Griezmann, and just really good movement and exceptional crossing. So. Yeah, Griezmann's mine.
I also think it's amazing just like how Griezmann should also maybe get more points just because like his role just changed completely to what he's done before.
Yeah,
like to be putting in like almost like a box to box performance and like the defensive work and like some of the tackles were like it was like he'd been doing it for years. That sort of like just stepping in confidently on the ball, pick his head up and then get. Like that was the best bit about his play. Like not only the defensive works, but then he can once he's on the ball, he's then able to pick a pass out and start an attack. It's incredible that Deschamps just seems to be able to get him taken. If I was the Atletico Madrid chairman or person making the decisions there, might be the time to move Simeone on. Deschamps similar sort of style, but. Maybe he could get something out of Griezmann for make him last a wee bit longer.
Didier Deschamps would be so good for Atletico Madrid. I just realized that.
That just came into my head there. I haven't thought about that, but as soon as it came into my head, I was like, that actually lines up quite nicely.
That is genius. Fantastic. Yeah.
Just on Mbappe, there's this tweet by Zach Lowry on Twitter. He turned 24. Is that today? Yeah, it's Kylian Mbappe's birthday today, so happy birthday, Kylian.
21st of December.
He's 5 goals away from becoming the all-time leading goal scorer in the history of the World Cup. Yep. He's 18 goals away from becoming France's all-time leading scorer, and he's 11 goals away from becoming PSG's all-time goal scorer.
He's gonna go like Ronaldo at Real Madrid. Like before Ronaldo came in, it was Raul top scorer in Real Madrid history, I think. I think he was also the top scorer in UEFA Champions League history.
Yeah.
These numbers are on a different scale now. Yeah. Because Ronaldo scored all these goals. Similar to Messi at Barcelona, obviously. I think Mbappe is going to do that with both PSG and France.
there was another graph I saw on Twitter that was like goals in World Cup knockout stages, goals and assists in World Cup knockout stages and UEFA Champions League knockout combined.
Yeah.
And before the age of 24. And I think Mbappe is on like 74. And he's nearly got double of what Messi has. I think that's what it was. Of
Wow.
goals and assists combined. And then he's just miles off. He's miles away from everybody at the same age. So yeah, he's
Mbappe was like
he is
almost
special.
elite
But you
at
know
the age
what?
of 17.
You know what? I still look at Mbappe and I go sometimes you're not that good. There's still moments in games when he like makes poor decisions. So like he's got so much room still to grow. Is the point I'm making. And like in the final there, he was missing for 80 minutes. but he only needed a couple, and then he was on it. So like, imagine imagine how good he'll be if he starts like taking control of a whole game, and improving in all the little other things. He's gonna be amazing. He is already amazing.
I think
it's gonna be mad the numbers he puts up.
Yeah.
People throughout the World Cup like forgotten because not many people follow PSG. Really, let's be honest. A lot of fans in general might have forgotten about his attitude issues. Like there was a moment in a game just before the World Cup where someone passed to Messi rather than him. Like Messi was on the left, I think, and he was running down the middle, and it was passed to Messi, and he just like sulked and started walking around and stuff. And similar moments where like, why is he like that? Like, is that dangerous for his long-term legacy? How is he gonna be as a player for the rest of his career? So we'll see how the rest of his club career pans out. International career, one of the legends of the game ever. Already. So yeah, what a player. Okay. Before we do the team of the tournament, I wanted to reveal the results of our predictions from before the tournament started. And Harry's not here, so we can make fun all day long about some of his picks, which were great. So yeah, that'll be really fun to watch. That'll be really fun to hear. Fergal, do you remember any of your picks?
I remember I picked Kane as top goal scorer.
Yes, you did.
And he's my player of the tournament. So although he wasn't top goal scorer, I'm still pretty happy with that pick. I picked France as the biggest disappointment.
Yeah.
Which that was horrendously wrong.
Yep.
But I just didn't like them going into it.
I
had Argentina winning.
You had Argentina winning. Congratulations. That is correct.
I did predict the winner.
Yep.
But then France kind of counteracts that because and did I have England as the biggest underdog?
Yeah, you had England as the dark horses. Yep.
Dark horses. Even.
Fantastic.
And I think I got that spot on. That they've done really, really well.
They went toe to toe with France, didn't they?
Toe to toe with France. I think the plucky England done well there.
Yeah. And then one to watch was Rafael Leao. And Leao, so before we went on,
I'm happy with that because whenever he came on, he was very good.
Yeah, Santos was, I don't know, wrong not to play anymore.
Who like go through everybody else and then because I'm trying to think of who the proper one to watch was, like who really came out of nowhere. But maybe hear everybody else's and then come back to it.
Okay, well, George's winners were Brazil, knocked out of the quarterfinals to Croatia. George's disappointments were Portugal. Fair shout, like that worked out kind of well because they lost to Morocco at the end of the day.
Huge disappointment, and they didn't particularly play well. I was going to put like if I wasn't on the actual podcast when you discuss these.
Who
But
did the hammer though? The hammer somebody.
they did,
Switzerland.
but you know,
Yeah.
I was also going to caveat that with Ronaldo most disappointment as well. So if I was actually on the podcast, I would have said it's going to be disappointing for Ronaldo. But yeah,
Probably the most disappointing player of the tournament. Went unemployed. Yeah. Top scorer. He had Neymar. Best player, Neymar. Yeah, that didn't work.
It made sense if you picked Brazil. Well, maybe not the top goal scorer bit, but
no. I just thought he was just gonna turn it on the summer sauce. But
yeah, and to be fair, he got injured the first game and missed the rest of the group
stage,
so not much you could do there.
Well, that was predictable though, wasn't it? It's Neymar the World Cup.
It is Neymar the World Cup. Serbia's the dark horses. They were very close to qualifying out of the group stage, so possibly not the worst shot in the world. And the one to watch was Gavi. That was good.
Okay,
Gavi was great. Gavi was great when he played. Gavi and what's his face? Jamal Musiala. These two are, I think, the best two players that have
They're
been
both
knocked
established
out early.
in the teams already.
Yeah.
Gavi, no. Well, yes, he is because he
is. Like Leo wasn't getting started, but
no,
they're both in the team already.
I still think he's so young, Gavi. I think it's a bit of a disservice to consider him, not someone. I don't think he's that in the limelight. I would argue.
Okay.
I mean, he's the golden boy, I guess. So.
Yeah, he did win Golden Boy.
He won the Golden Boy award. So, literally the best young player in the world. But I get what you mean. I did. Argentina winners. Disappointments as England and Fergal, you had them on the underdogs as tournament. They did go as far as the quarterfinals and toe-to-toe with France and all that. So that's a bad pick, to be fair. That's a bad pick. It's bad.
Yeah, you had your USA cap on whenever you were saying that.
Yeah, I think I did. England's performance against the USA was shambolic, to be honest. Top goal scorer and best player was Messi. That was really close. I think it was a 1 goal difference.
Yeah.
Because Mbappe decided to score a hat-trick in the freaking final. So, dark horses, the Netherlands. I don't know why I picked dark horses, Netherlands. Like, maybe they were in the World Cup last time, I guess. But
it's not bad shit. Like they nearly knocked Argentina out. It was nearly one of the best comebacks of World Cup history. That Weghorst goal.
The Weghorst goal is iconic, to be honest.
But are they dark horses? I would say they.
Yeah.
Are they with the profile of players they've got?
They don't have that good of a team.
But if you compare them to like South Korea, Senegal, Morocco, actual sort of smaller footballing nations, you wouldn't say.
Well, I suppose look, the dark horse in the World Cup was Morocco. So I suppose if you're equating them to Morocco, no, they weren't as much of a long shot as them.
Yeah, fair.
But the Netherlands going into the semi-final would be further than I think most people would have expected.
That absolutely.
Speaking of the Netherlands, the one to watch was Xavi Simons, and he barely got any minutes, so that was probably my.
Did he get on at all?
He got on, I think, in the first or second game for like the last 5 minutes, if I remember correctly. He got very few minutes. Harry.
Okay,
Brazil as the winners.
Okay.
The disappointments was spot on. Belgium.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Belgium and Germany would be the two big disappointments.
Yeah. Top goal scorer, Mbappe. Okay. But the best player, he had Neymar. So I guess that's to do with Brazil winning. I remember him saying, like, it's going to be Argentina and Brazil. Whoever wins will have the best player.
Yeah, he did say
that. So if Argentina win, it's obviously going to be Messi. If Brazil win, it's Neymar. So dark horses, Denmark. 1 point from a group that had Australia and Tunisia.
I thought them. I can't slag them off it. I remember on the podcast I rated. I remember going through the ones in my head I wanted to pick, and I was like, I picked England, but I said Uruguay, Serbia, and Denmark. and all went in the group stages.
Yeah.
So my predictions at the start were horrendous. The ones I put down there were good, but the ones I said on the podcast just as like sort of spare thoughts,
along. Yeah.
horrific, absolutely horrific.
It's good they recognize that. Harry's one to watch was Jude Bellingham.
Good pick.
I think, yeah, it is because of his increased role. Didn't he play? He played most minutes for sure, if not every minute.
And he was good. He was very good.
Best England player, I think.
He's up there for young player of the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just missing a crucial penalty for me to get that, but he's definitely up there.
Yeah. He's up there. He should have taken it from Kane.
Yeah.
Scoring 2 penalties he's not for everyone, really. So
no.
Yeah. It was the likes of Mbappe. You know what I mean? Okay.
But yeah, who would be the one to watch player if you were to look back? Who was the one that really broke out?
Unahi. Unahi from Morocco.
Oh, Unahi.
Unahi, yeah.
Yeah.
Unahi is the breakout player of the tournament.
Who's
Benahi?
Yeah.
No,
Unahi, I would say,
yeah.
Think about it. I can't think of anybody else really.
I think Bellingham. I know Bellingham.
Not to the same extent.
Bellingham is world class already.
Like if you had to pick one player that came from nothing and is now like, or not came from nothing, nobody knew going into it really, and nobody was talking about, and then they've really come out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I'd say
pre-World Cup, Alex Stewart, previously of Tifo, now of Analytics FC, one of the most prominent like football analysts online, did not know anything about Unahi. Like that was in 2021.
I thought you were gonna say he called it. I was like, geez,
no.
The club needs to sign him up if he's making predictions like that.
He didn't know who Unai is. I saw like a tweet that was retweeted after the Portugal game, and Unai had a really good game that day. Someone had asked him about Unai as a replacement to, like, I think is like Toni Kroos at Real Madrid as like a really cheap option or something like that. It's someone that can be a midfielder that progresses the ball well. And Alex Stewart's reply was like, the question was, did you watch anything of him? What do you make of him? The response was, nothing, sorry. So like, yeah. I don't think most people knew who he was. What a player, man. He's really good. Okay, ready to do World Cup Best 11.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We'll start with the same cycle. Fergal, your goalkeeper of the tournament is blank.
My goalkeeper of the tournament is Mr. Shithouse himself.
Yeah! Fantastic.
Any from it? Well, we'll discuss them all. Where you tell me who yours is.
George, goalkeeper. Mine's
Livakovic. I think in terms of penalty.
The commentators were saying it really weird, and I can't remember what way they were. Was it?
Is it not
Livakovic?
Livakovic. That's how I would have said it.
Yeah,
I would.
In my head, I always have Livakovic because that's what we would have said playing Football Manager and stuff.
Yeah.
But Livakovic, I think it was the way he said it.
Yeah, I mean they had a good, they had a good defensive record. I thought he was great in terms of keeping clean sheets and keeping the ball out of the net for penalties as well. So.
It was the Brazil game, especially, wasn't it?
Yeah, he had a phenomenal game against Brazil.
Yeah,
very true, and against Morocco too. The third place playoff is really good at it. Speaking of the third place playoff, I am going to, just to be different, I had Livakovic, but then I'll pick Yassine Bono just because George picked Livakovic. It's a toss up between.
It could have been any of those.
I think I'm happy to give it to Martinez simply because of that iconic photo with the Golden Glove. Now,
are we doing I thought we were just giving our teams.
Yeah. Goalkeeper of the tournament is going to be on your team, right? We're not FIFA, right? We don't hand out goalkeeper of the year and put a different goalkeeper in the starting 11. Like we're not that stupid. So we're gonna go. Goalkeeper of the tournament is in your team.
Right. Okay.
My argument against Martinez is that he conceded,
the celebration at the end.
Not the celebration. He conceded too many goals for me to consider him as one. but the save against Colomwani in the 122nd minute, was it, is the greatest save of all time. I don't think for the occasion and for the stakes and for the timing and for the chance itself and how reactive he had to be, that was the best save I have ever seen from anyone in any video. Like, it's the save. It's the save, and all of the saves should learn from it.
Yeah, it is.
In fairness, I thought this Mbappe's equalizer, I thought he actually should have saved that.
Yeah, that was another thing. Like the Mbappe equalizer and the Mbappe penalty in the shootout. Actually, had a big hand to it.
Another reason I'd probably take it away from Martinez is because he did take the shithousery a little bit too far. I know it might have done the mind games throwing the ball away, but I don't like it. But he did win, so it's that weird sort of mix up.
There was also this like silly Mbappe thing, the toy
with
that had
baby.
Mbappe. Yeah, that's
it's a bit
mental. Mbappe went 4-0 against you in the final. Like, he scored 4 times against you in one game, in 1 2-hour time frame. Come on, man. Like,
we gonna change it then, or?
Well, everyone's gonna give it a season with the tournament, so that's.
So we're not making a combined.
Okay,
we're not making a combined. That will take too much time. We're already half an hour into the recording. Fergal, you're right back.
My right back, I've gone Hakimi. I was very close to going Molina, but he made a mistake for Mbappe's equalizer. And I think there was something else. But the goal he scored that Messi set up, he took that very well for a right back, especially. Like the first touch to take it onto a stronger foot and to take it away from the centre back and then slot it home. That was a really, really good moment. And then he's just generally quite solid.
Good. Hakimi for me though as well. That the audacity of chipping it down the middle, I think, is enough. And he was just and a great celebration. And Morocco in general were pretty solid. So at the back, so Hakimi, for me.
Great. Your left back.
What about you,
Me is Hakimi. Sorry.
It's
Hakimi. The winning penalty against Spain, a standout moment from all of the World Cup. Left back, please, Fergal.
Mazraoui. Left back was pretty weak, I thought, this tournament.
Yeah.
So, but Morocco were really, really solid, so I've gone with him.
Am I going mad, or is Borna Sosa not the Croatia left back? Because the BBC website doesn't have Borna Sosa, which I found a little bit strange. I would have put Borna Sosa.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with it. As much for muchness, really.
Yeah. George, who's yours?
I didn't have an opinion on left back because, quite honestly, none of them stood out to myself. So I'm happy with either of your picks, but I genuinely really struggled to pick any. So I'm going to go Sosa.
All right, 2 centre backs. Who's your centre back pairing? Fergal.
My first centre back, very obvious, Gvardiol.
Yes.
Could have been young player of the tournament. Really, really good. My second one, he didn't. Is Suter for Australia. He was
great shout.
I thought he was really, really solid.
Yeah, that's very good.
I
think my defense is going to be Morocco heavy just because they didn't concede a single goal all through the quarterfinal. So thusly, Romain Saiss is one of them, but I could have picked any one of them. I could have picked Leo Miko. I thought he was amazing. And Josko Gvardiol, obviously. Apart from, so in the Messi goal, he did everything right. Apart from the moment Messi turned, he showed him a little bit, just enough for Messi on his left hand side to be able to turn around. But like, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just Messi. So Josko Gvardiol for sure. George?
Mine matches Ali, so Gvardiol and Saiss.
All right. Defensive midfielder. Fergal.
So I've just realised what you said there. That is mental that Romain Saiss had the World Cup he's had.
Yeah.
From isn't he like was like on the edge of the Wolves team in and out the odd time.
Yeah.
It'd be good for fantasy, and then he's moved to Besiktas.
Yep.
And now he's like one of the best centre back at the World Cup.
Yeah. Maybe not the best, but one of the best. So. DM.
Yeah. Well, I'll just give you my 3. I've got 3 in midfield. Cool.
Yeah.
I've gone Amrabat,
yeah,
Modric, and Griezmann.
Good. I have Griezmann is one of my 3 midfielders. Amrabat is another. We take a sip of water.
Same here, Ali. So I think those 2 are definitely in. I think they're in everyone's team, right?
I would guess so. Griezmann is a lot of people's player of the tournament. So if you don't have him, maybe you might shoehorn him if you wanted to like pick 2 other midfielders. You can shoehorn him on the left wing, and like put Messi as a 9. But it's very hard not to pick Griezmann. Who is your 3rd, George?
I've gone with Jude Bellingham. I struggled with the 3rd, but I thought he really did control games a lot of the time, and was absolutely key for transitional play for England, because a little bit of tenacity, a little bit of physicality in the midfield with sort of running and dribbling with the ball and getting it forward, we do lack that sort of stopgap in between the more advanced midfielders and Rice and Phillips.
Yeah,
Bellingham like gives that balance, and I thought he was really good all tournament. However, that's not a solid pick. He was really good, but it's more that I don't know who else would really go in there. Modric,
Unahi was one I was close to picking.
Yeah.
I went with Modric kind of for sentimental reasons. Like it was that he might go. That's this last World Cup.
Yeah,
he might go on and play the Nations League final, isn't it? I'm not sure what he's doing with Croatia, but his time in international football is near the end, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So apart from Amrabat and Griezmann, I'm just imagining the 2 main midfielders that are linked to Liverpool right now: Enzo Fernandez and Amrabat. Is it Sophia and Amrabat?
Is he actually being linked to Liverpool?
Yeah, both of them are. And I'm just imagining.
Wasn't he at Watford? Amrabat.
It might have been.
Was it that Amrabat that was at Watford?
Might have been.
There was definitely an Amrabat that was at Watford.
Could be his bigger brother, his older brother.
Oh right, that makes sense.
So yeah, I'm thinking Amrabat and Fernandez double pivot. Holy God, what a center midfield that would be. And then so I have Fernandez and Amrabat, and in front of them is Griezmann. That's my midfield 3. Okay, let's go. Since we did midfield 3 together, front 3, Fergal.
Front 3, I have Mbappe left.
Yes.
Messi right.
Yes.
And Kane down the middle.
What a pick! What a pick! I love this. I love this.
Yeah. He's like he can play. He can play in my Gaelic football team any day of the week. He knocks points over the bars left, right, and center.
George just shaking his head, trying to stay calm. Who's your front 3, George?
Yeah, mine has to be Big Rom, Ronaldo. Mine right to left, Messi, Giroud, and Mbappe for me.
I've picked Messi and Mbappe, of course. Julian Alvarez up front. I didn't think I would pick Julian Alvarez until maybe the semi-final, but then you look at his semi-final performance and final performance, and you kind of underestimate his impact.
Yeah,
just like.
But
go on.
Sorry. No, I was going to say in terms of impact. I mean, Giroud, I think, is criminally underrated at this point in terms of his career.
I don't know if he is now, though.
He is.
We have this discussion every time, but I think he genuinely is rated at this point.
Okay,
I feel like he is.
But even his time at Chelsea, I thought he was, and probably has been, our best striker. Costa as well since Drogba, and I think Giroud adds so much to a team beyond just goals. But finally, he's now also contributing to goals scored. Did he match
He
Henry?
beat Thierry Henry.
He's
beaten Thierry. That's insane.
He's beaten
That
Thierry
is
Henry's record by 1 goal.
That's
Although
insane.
Mbappe's gonna break that record next year.
Yeah.
So,
but that's why Mbappe is my left winger. Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah.
So
sorry, I interrupted.
I thought Richarlison was the other one that was worth a mention as a striker.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who he is because that isn't Richarlison. But the good thing is that once he goes back to Spurs, he will become shite again. So it's just safe in the knowledge that it was just a little holiday away from Spurs that helped him, and then once he comes back, it's all going to be the same. Nothing to worry about.
The World Cup.
Anybody who gets him in their fantasy team, don't even think about it. Do not think of it. Kane will continue to score a lot of goals for them, no doubt, and be brilliant and never win a cup. But Richarlison will return to being rubbish.
Love that you put this little Kane thing in there as well. I love the commitment to this today. The World Cup brings some things out of people that you just don't see. Like we talked about Unahi. We didn't really think of Amrabat as that kind of elite defensive midfielder, all action ball winner type of situation. And Harry Kane with Gaelic football abilities, stuff like that. So yeah, Julian Alvarez, I didn't think he would be that kind of complete forward. He was playing number 10 with Man City before going to the World Cup. So yeah, we'll see.
He's definitely is more of like a striker. Like he's just being played out of position. And I'm kind of a bit sad he's at Man City now as well, because he's a good enough player to be one of the main strikers in a Champions League team.
Yeah.
And like Haaland does feel like he has like there's an expiry date on his time at City. I don't know if he'll get if he'll go for a second contract with them that'll take him past maybe 3 years there. So maybe there is, but Alvarez does feel like a perfect player for Man City that could stay there for longer. So maybe it will line up nicely for Alvarez's career, but it's kind of like maybe I hope he gets the game time because he's a brilliant player.
I feel like he would be an amazing replacement for Firmino at Liverpool when eventually Firmino leaves. He'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Closed World Cup talk with the short king of the tournament. It's a fitting ending to crown the World Cup short king. Apart from Lionel Messi, we all know Messi's
this is Ali. We can try and do it, but we were talking about it off air, and we were really struggling.
Yeah,
and none of us have given Messi an award, so I think we give him the most, the biggest award that we can give him. And we just say it how it is. There's no we went through the other candidates, and it's just not there.
I do have another candidate we didn't speak about that's popped into my mind.
Okay, go for it.
That's Aaron Moy for Australia. He
was good.
Brilliant. He was brilliant. And not only does he lack in height, but he does lack hair as well. So he's been given 2 very harsh blows in life. So,
whoa. He's been given one harsh blow and being bald.
No, excuse me.
One harsh blow.
Is that not
one harsh blow?
No.
Being short is
king.
Is kingdom? I don't know. You become a king by being short. It's a gift in life.
Right.
There's a certain royalty to being short, George. Yeah. And I don't think you're appreciating.
Yeah. The Emir of Qatar is about to bust through my door to give me the bisht because he's saying you're short. You're 5'7", Fergal. Here's your cloak. They
might as well have given the bitch to Messi because he is short. You see what I'm saying?
I don't think they would have had a bitch ready for Lloris because he's over 6 foot.
Yeah,
that's my opinion. I think that was the deciding factor behind the bisht.
Yeah,
the bisht.
You know what? We hereby declare Lionel Messi is the short king of the World Cup. The biggest honor this podcast could give to the greatest player of all time.
You know what? We should all chip in like a 10 or something and actually send Messi the short king trophy. We should, Just in case the publicity. Like imagine we one of him with this. Oh no, you know what you do, Ali? If you're any good at Photoshop a Short King trophy with him lying beside it like he was with the World Cup.
Yeah.
Or the World Cup on one side and the Short King trophy on the other. That would be perfect.
I think people know how bad I am at Photoshop if they know that I do the thumbnails.
It'll make it even funnier. So the worse the Photoshop is, the funnier it is.
Just saying.
Well, you've said Short King of the World Cup. I mean, Short King of all time.
Absolutely. I mean, it's
Warwick Davis is up there, but
yeah. SOAT. Is that what it would be? The acronym SOAT.
SOAT. I don't know.
SOAT. Yeah.
The SOAT.
It's the SOAT.
Shortest of all time.
Oh yeah, it's SK, isn't it?
Scout.
That's
dangerously close to the SCOTUS, but whatever. Okay, let's close in on the World Cup talk.
Yeah,
boys, we have 10 minutes to go. I think it's time to move on from the World Cup. If you're still watching, thank you. We're still going because club football starts now. Club football, literally right now. I think it's the first half between Man United and Burnley in the Carabao Cup. It's so weird that we immediately have the World Cup back, like the club football back. Excuse me. But yeah, it's happening. It is here. So it's a thing. And I guess we can talk about it. Boxing Day is coming up in as we record in 4 or 5 days time. It's 21st, depending on how you look at it. Manchester United, by the way, are 1-0 up to a Christian Eriksen goal, assisted by Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Remember him? There will be loads of players that we entirely forgot about that they exist. Wan-Bissaka is one of them. He started apparently. So yeah, got an assist to Christian Eriksen. It's a strong team that's starting for them. It's Ronaldo-less, but it will be Ronaldo-less forever and forevermore. Whoop.
Your camera's not working for. Oh, there we go.
No, there we go. All right. So.
My computer crashed when you started talking and praising Wan-Bissaka.
Yes. That's what I said.
I'll leave that in there, I think. Okay, so Liverpool play Man City actually on Thursday. Tomorrow. Oh, wow, today it's Wednesday. Okay, so the Liverpool play Man City tomorrow.
That is mental.
That is crazy.
That's a bit much. I need a few more. I need a few more shit games to warm up to that. I need a few minor games as a bit of lubrication to warm up into the full throttle Liverpool Man City.
Well, these happened yesterday. That's the problem. It happened. Almost
happening today, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And today as well. So, yeah, Southampton apparently won, and their new manager, Neil Jones, I think his name is, from Luton. He came over from Luton Town, and they won 2-1 against Lincoln very tightly.
I forgot that. It feels ages ago.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Graham Jones is now Southampton. Right, okay.
Yeah.
Carry on, sorry.
Graham Jones. And he, after the game, he was like, Rome wasn't built in a day. Neither was a fantastic Southampton side. They won against Lincoln 2-1. Lincoln were up 1-0, and then it was 1-1 in the 25th minute for a while until the 74th minute when Che Adams won it for them with the second goal of the day. Gavin Bazunu scored an own goal, but moving on. Right. Who wins tomorrow? Oh god, this is so tiresome. Man City or Liverpool advancing?
Let's not predict it. We'll
okay,
just
never
mention
mind.
It.
We're mentioning it. Okay, it is mentioned. Liverpool play.
It is mentioned. We've no clue what's going to happen. Who does?
No.
I can't even remember who plays for Liverpool.
I don't know who starts, to be honest. Does Julian Alvarez come back? Does he not? Like, would who is good? Like
Haaland is ready. He actually there was
absolutely.
a funny video of him on the training ground. That was doing the rounds. It actually was funny. It wasn't actually bad football humor. It was good.
Interesting. I haven't seen that, to be honest. And then Boxing Day comes back. Our beloved Boxing Day. I have a flight that day. Fantastic. So I'll miss it all. But Brentford Tottenham kicks things off at 7:30. Then there's a bunch of games at 10, and then 12:30, then 3. And it's football all day long.
You know what we should try and do? We should try and remember who's managing each team.
Okay,
Please no.
I'm there looking at it, and I'm seriously like, who's managing?
Here's a really good question. Who's the manager of Wolves?
Lopetegui.
Fantastic. Well done. Who's the manager of Villa?
Oh, Emery.
Emery.
Oh yeah, Emery. Yeah.
George forgot. Okay,
Yeah.
so these were the two.
Who's the manager of Brighton?
Who's
Brighton. Oh, Roberto De Zerbi. I know that.
Yeah.
Bournemouth. It's still
Bournemouth.
Gaz O'Neill, is it?
Still Gary O'Neill. I think they renewed him for 18 months, if I remember correctly.
Right.
So Boxing Day happens, then there's the 27th. Okay, I'm gonna straight up ask you two, since you're Chelsea. Chelsea have had an interesting season. Obviously, the conversation about George's suggestion that Chelsea could have a title challenge is long gone now. That feels 14 years ago.
We're currently in 8th, and we're
16
we're a long
points
way.
up.
16 points off. Yeah.
16 points off the top.
Up.
Yeah, I
But
don't
our
think top
form-
is a conversation anymore.
Our form really annoys me. We're 16 points off, but we've lost 3 and drawn 2 of our last 5 games.
Yes.
And the games were against Aston Villa, Newcastle, Arsenal, Brighton, and Man United, all of which I would say are winnable games for Chelsea and
Correct.
would have put us in the title race. So I'm very frustrated that my prediction hasn't come off, and I don't think. I know me and Haz will still argue in terms of whether Chelsea were actually performing well or not, but I still think there's no excuse why we're not up there. But anyway,
Do you have any expectation from the season at all?
top 4 is
Top 4,
absolutely
yeah.
has to be.
Interesting, because on Liverpool's side, I have no idea. It all hinges on the transfer window and the timing of the takeover, if it's going to happen. Reading on Twitter today that a Dubai consortium took over, which feels odd, but regardless, if it happens, we'll have more money and we can sign people now. Man United have just gone up 2-0 just now. So I would say if we do sign people in January, especially Enzo Fernandez and/or Amrabat, top 4 would be very much in the question. Very much possible.
Yeah.
I would say.
It should be.
Are you a wee bit worried that you're signing Amrabat? Were you linked to him before the World Cup? Because Enzo Fernandez, I get this guy has been incredible, but Amrabat does feel like a post World Cup one of the standout players.
Amrabat has been
that sort of move makes me worried about the judgment, unless there's there's good reason behind it and it's someone they've been monitoring beforehand. But
I think Amrabat was someone we thought of for a little bit. He was on the radar because he's been a pretty consistent performer for Fiorentina. So I haven't watched a lot of Fiorentina, but he's been there. He's very established in Serie A.
Right.
So yeah, here we go. That was a big train crash of a preview for the club football. I genuinely don't know what to say. It all feels too early. Just give us a break from everything and then come back in the new year. I would have thought everyone feels ready again, but it'll be interesting to see how teams respond to the break. First of all, if people haven't played or coming back from the World Cup in such a short space of time. Yeah, we'll see. I do look forward to tomorrow's game, even though it's the least I've been excited about a Liverpool Man City game probably ever. Understandably, for obvious reasons. So, all right.
Just to wrap up then, Ali.
I was going to wrap it up now.
I just popped into my head. We haven't talked about our Spotify Wrapped.
Yes.
So
What a
Thanks
point.
for everybody that's listened, no matter what way you listen or watch us on YouTube. But the Spotify Wrapped, somehow, we're in the top 25 most followed podcasts on Spotify.
Yes, that is
blows
correct.
my mind.
Big
It
time.
does.
Then it says one of the stats was you released 8 videos on this year on Spotify. You were in the top 20 most viewed.
Top 20%. That's
Top
to be
20.
clear.
Of
Top
most
20%
viewed video podcast.
Yeah. Top 25 most fall podcasts, up 20% most views. And I want to give a shout out for the 5 fans that have the podcast as their number 1 listened to podcast, and the 34 that have it in their top 10.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. We still feel small, but I feel like the Spotify Wrapped has revealed a lot of things.
And it's okay to be small. We love being small.
We love being small. We champion being small.
Yeah.
But it blows us away that we have people looking forward to the podcast every week, and it really keeps us going. It's this past 3 months in particular have had a lot of, the World Cup has had some big breaks in it. We're just all in our own world and just really busy people in general. But it keeps us going, and it keeps us going that you guys look forward to it every week. That doesn't include YouTube views, which are small, let's be honest. But it's a big motivator knowing that.
We just need to get more clickbait thumbnails by Anthony Taylor by the looks of it. So hopefully he does more content.
So our most viewed video is the Anthony Taylor one. Even I think it's more than double the James Alcott one, which is just mad. No, not more than double. Sorry,
it was the podcast after Alcott, which is just bizarre.
No.
Yeah, it's
got loads more compared to it.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, no, thank you all. If we see you by the end of the year, then yeah. But I don't feel like we're gonna have a podcast before Christmas, so Merry Christmas if you're celebrating. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and we'll probably be back. We'll be back after Boxing Day at some point, maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. I'm gonna have a flight. I'll be back home with the family. Well, not exactly home. I'll be in Saudi Arabia, actually, one of the 2030 World Cup hosts. So yeah, I'll spend some time there, and so I guess I will see you from over there. That'll be fascinating. First time, obviously, recording the podcast from the Middle East. Well, no, I record podcasts from Egypt. First time recording podcasts in Saudi Arabia. So yeah, that'll be good. So yeah, hope you guys, Fergal and George, have a fantastic time in Christmas and the holidays and all that. Listeners, viewers, everyone that's supported podcast, shared it around in any way, thanks so much. Have a wonderful time, and we will see you after Boxing Day. There'll be a few games that have been played, and we can actually have stuff to talk about club football. So thank you for your support. We will see you soon. On to good things.